It's already July, but here is a very late Bunny Blanc from EAH makeup tutorial, so enjoy! As always, start with your skincare first. Then wait for it to dry for about 20 minutes. After letting it dry, you can now use any of the primers that you need. If you don't have any, you can skip this step. I will be using a hydrating primer for this video, but I would use a gripping and blurring primer for any outdoor activities. I'm only using the hydrating primer because I'm at home and this is only a video. If you have dry lips, I suggest you use a lip oil. This will melt off essentially all the dry cracks on your lips. Next, I'll be using a color corrector for my under eyes. This step is optional. I only use a corrector because I have really dark under eyes. Now I move the bangs out of the way and I take out a white eyeshadow primer. Then I take a light pink eyeshadow from a palette and I'm going to mix it essentially to make a foundation. I am using the end of a brush to essentially break the powder. And then, so I don't look like a total ghost, I take my normal foundation. This will make my skin look dull-ish, because I noticed that Bunny Blanc's skin isn't entirely like peach or nude. Then I use a setting spray to melt everything together. Now I take a normal concealer and I conceal my eye bags and wherever I need coverage. I mix a tiny hint of that white eyeshadow primer to brighten up the shade and make it more bright. Again, I'm using a setting spray to melt everything together. Now I take a pressed powder and I set my under eyes and my eyelids. I emphasize on putting this on my eyelids and my eye bags only because I use a loose setting powder for the rest of my face. Bunny Blanc's eyebrows are dark, so I just use my eyebrow gel and I brush it through all of my brow hairs. Now I take a spoolie and I brush through all of the hairs and shape my brows. I then take this eyebrow powder duo and I go in with a lighter taupey shade and I fill in my brows as normal. Next, I use a white crayon and I put this on my inner corner and like the middle of my lid. Now I take a white eyeshadow and I set the white part of the crayon with that eyeshadow. This will lock in the pigment and make sure that it's bright, and like any other powder with cream or liquid, it will set it in place. Now I take my black eyeshadow and going in very lightly, I go into the outside of my lid. This will make definition and depth to the look. Now I take back my white eyeshadow again and I mix it in between the black and the white so it looks gray and more blended. Now I use eyelid tape and took out my glitter palette. I use a white glitter and I put it in the middle of my eye, mainly focusing on where the white eyeshadow is. Now for my face, I'm gonna use some contour, then blush. For the blush in specific, I put it on the apples of my cheeks. Now I set my whole face with the loose setting powder. To bring back color, I use powder, contour, and blush. Back to the eyes, I use a black pencil liner and I line my upper lash line and some eyeliner. I melt everything together with this setting spray and cover my eyes so it doesn't disturb the eyeshadow. Now quick back to the eyes for a second and I put some aegyosal using a brown taupey shade. And I use some white eyeshadow to highlight that part. Now I use a brown liner to draw some lower lashes. Now I curl my lashes, put some lash primer and mascara. Now it's time for lips. I use a lip balm after scrubbing off the lip oil. Then I use a pink lip liner and apply lipstick and lip gloss. And here's the final look. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed doing this cosplay. And I will see you next time. Bye!